And in a household where you're constantly disrespecting a man, he's going to end up depressed and sad for even accepting it. Men just want to feel respected. It's not that hard to do. If you truly, I suggest to anyone watching this, if you truly love your man.
A lot of women are going to be like, what about my respect?
Last few episodes we did a reaction video to Andrew Tate, and a lot of you guys enjoyed that, and this was actually before we were technically married. Now we've tied the knot, and she's now my wife. So this clip we're going to be responding to Andrew Tate and his controversial advice on marriage. The title of this video says, Andrew Tate explains why men should never get married. What I understand, he has multiple wives, so I'm a bit confused about this title. I'm curious to hear what he has to say about this.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit worried.
In America, a lot of that is happening right now, where it's a single parent household. Kids are being raised without a mom and dad being there, and it's just one mom, mom trying to do both. And these boys, once my parents got a divorce, I'm a single mother raising me. I'm seeing my dad every other week, so it's not like he has direct influence to discipline me until I went into the military. What if your dad took the fight approach? What if your parents were together? Would it have made a difference in you? And how do you view the idea of fathers being there with mom and dad together, family nucleus? Because a lot of times, marriage no longer has, the what it once had. Like kids are better off being raised with a mom and dad. How do you process that yourself? Because you became successful not being in that environment.
Correct.
So do you see this as well? It depends. There's exceptions to the rule. How do you process it?
So just to give you a bit of context, his father and mother got divorced.
I think it's a fantastic environment, and I think in an idealistic world, that's the way it would be. I think the reason it's not happening today is that I don't think many men actually benefit from marriages or relationships anymore. And people are always going to have to require some degree of incentive. I think that we've set up the world now in a way where men are seen as worker droids. They're expected to go work all day, come home, clean up as well, share the cleaning with the woman, no meal prepared for them, not have any authority over the household, and just be a worker droid and be sad. And I don't think that many people understand that men.
As soon as he started saying about men not really needing marriage or whatever, I can understand that because it's an immense amount of pressure for men from youth. You are treated like you have to support your family. You have to do everything, and that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot to be like, okay, I have to look after my wife and I have to look after my kids. I have to, provide and supply for my whole family. Back in the day, it was more that the woman stays at home and she looks after him. You would have to look after everything. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that, but I also understand that it is a lot of pressure and it can be quite scary and daunting for a lot of men. And I think
if war hits, we have to put
you
our
are the
neck on
ones
the
that
lines.
have to go into
The Titanic.
Yep.
We were the ones left on the boat.
It's true. It's women and children first.
Yeah.
I get it as well in the aspect of if you're separated, all you have to worry about is your kids. You don't have to worry about your wife. You don't have to worry about your family. It's you and your child, which does alleviate the pressure a lot.
Men are intrinsically wired to desire respect amongst our peers and in our environments. This is why CEOs work so hard, because they get respect in their company. This is why we all want so much money and fast cars and status and influence, because we're respected. Men desire respect like we desire oxygen. And if a man's coming home to a household where he doesn't feel any respect, he's not going to want to be there for very long. And I think the way you fix this is you need to understand that many men don't have an incentive to be in the house anymore. I think that it's actually would be quite easy for a woman. In fact, there's a couple women who even say this on YouTube. I can't remember their names, but it'd be quite easy for a woman to make a man really happy with super basic things. Just go up to your husband and say, hey, you know more about this. What do you think about this? That would make most men's world. And there's so many sexless marriages out there with men who work their ass off and they come home to a sexless marriage and kids who don't fucking even like them. If you were to just even ask him his question about some asinine bullshit, a lawnmower purchase, for example, he would feel so happy to feel like the man of the house. That's what men need. They need to feel like all this work I'm putting in, all this shit I'm going through, I'm respected for it. As soon as a man feels like he has no respect, that's the absolute end of a man's interest or a man's tolerance of a situation. I think that's the reason it's happening. I know a lot of men who completely love their wives. They love them with all their heart. They die for her. But he's just not respected in his house. He doesn't get to be the man of the house.
Is it on him or is it on her? Does he need to go earn it, or is it on her to provide it?
It's a combination of both. I think it's certainly on him to earn it, but also the matrix programming is counter to him. The matrix programming is trying to tell him that he shouldn't be allowed to be the man of the house, that he shouldn't be allowed to have any kind of authority in any regard. You shouldn't be allowed to be able to say what happens. The matrix programming is saying the absolute opposite all the time. And if that's getting into your woman and you don't have that much influence, and that's getting into all your children, you don't have that much influence. Now you're coming home to a household where everyone just thinks you're the dude who should just fucking work. You're just a worker droid. You're the slave. You're the robot. And your feelings don't matter and your authority doesn't matter, and get fucked. And this is very conscious. If you watch any Netflix show, the mother is the smart one and the man is the bumbling idiot. Turn on a show. I dare you, turn on a family show. The mother is the one, hey, calm down, I'm smart. And the man's the like, oh, beer. Watch any of these shows.
This is something that I've observed for many years. And if you look at any like Modern Family, Simpsons, Family Guy, whatever, name it, even Friends, Seinfeld, like the guy is always like, and then the woman's like the usually the smart one who keeps everything together. She like represents order. You know what I mean? So what are your thoughts on that?
You're right. They are like that. I think, but the point of these shows is that they exaggerate everything. So I do believe that yes, in a marriage, the woman does have a little bit more control. It's like the whole thing about the man being the head of the house, but the woman being the neck. I think just in TV shows, they exaggerate it to the next level that the man is just sad and weak and whatever. Behind the scenes, the woman is the one in control of a lot. Like, for example, just us doing like our Christmas shopping, and that's fine. That's my role, I suppose. Your laundry, making sure you have clean clothes, presentable, stuff like that. And like when he says the thing about, you know, making sure that your man is happy and feels like a man, I completely agree. Like if I can't get a jar open, I'll always come to you. I don't even try. Like if I struggle a little bit, I'll come home and be like, open this. Sometimes as a joke, I'll be like, oh, I need a big, strong man. Because it's stuff that...
Yeah, it's like those little things that makes you feel appreciated. It's like the little things, you know, and I think I've met so many guys who are in marriages who are completely disrespected. And either they leave physically via divorce or they mentally check out.
And I think that is...
And that's when they go cheat and try to escape their wife. And
I think that is part of the reason of what he's saying about with TV shows and stuff. It's similar to like the whole body image and stuff. Like women look at what social media presents them and it makes them think like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to look like, this is what I'm supposed to act like. So I think that what he's saying with the TV shows, I think that women see that, and because right now, or the past couple of years or so, it's been the rise of femininity. They're making it look like it's okay to belittle your husband or your partner or any of that kind of stuff. And to be fair...
Would you say that matrix programming, whether from your parents, government, or pop culture, seeps into your mind, where you kind of try to lean towards just like unnecessarily insulting a guy or something like that? Could be consciously or unconsciously, but do you find... Or are you impervious to the programming of the matrix?
No, I don't know, because I also agree that women deserve more respect. Because if you're not careful, it's like what I was saying, you know, like the toxic masculinity message comes across too strong. And then...
But what is toxic masculinity for you? Like an example, Give me a practical example.
It's when the man has total and complete control over their woman, where the woman feels that she has no right or power to say anything or have her own life. For me, it's when a man says things like, you can't have a cell phone, you can't hang out with these people, like anytime she has her own opinion, the man will basically slap her in the face.
Whether
it's physically, like 1950s. Emotionally.
Let me mansplain a little bit. So what you're saying is that your perception of toxic masculinity is when the guy has complete and utter control, but to the absolute maximum. Like kind of like those old 1950s, Correct. Shut up and make me a sandwich, woman. Correct. Don't talk back. Like too extreme, like a stereotypical cartoon character.
Correct. Okay. I believe that, yeah. Because those people are out there. There are men like that, where it's basically an abusive relationship.
Actually, I think sometimes toxic masculinity can manifest itself through even the liberal woke people, like the very effeminate guys who's all about women rights and will virtue signal and all that kind of stuff, but then deep down, they're the ones that, during sex maybe he fucking chokes a woman out and he's actually quite violent. But on the outside, he's like, no, I'm a white knight. I protect women's rights and I'm a good person. But it's like, usually it's actually a psychological manipulation to just pick up women to make them think. Like, I'm sure absolutely there are people like that.
Yeah.
I think that's even like in the extreme version is like that serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer type of personality.
I still haven't watched that. But yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Because I think...
Where they weaponize virtue, you know?
Because I feel like what's happened is, because of that kind of toxic masculinity back in the day, the pendulum has swung so intensely to the other side that the women now are becoming that kind of vibe. That the women are now, like, abusing their partners, making them feel like shit.
Right.
Because for so long, women haven't had the right to say anything. Women haven't had... we didn't have the right to vote. Now that we have those, I feel like it's taken a next level.
Gone a bit too extreme to the point where those who are fighting against toxic masculinity, even that word, it's like the word racism or racist or homophobe or Nazi, where there are people who do fit that criteria, but then it gets used so much where even someone's called me out for being a homophobe and a Nazi and a transphobe because I interviewed a Christian and Christians believe that homosexuality is a sin, therefore I must hate gay people. Like, it goes so extreme that they just start... It's like the boy who cried wolf. You know what I mean? And I think that's like, toxic masculinity is a thing, but that's when boys don't become men. They don't integrate that part of themselves. That's when toxic masculinity manifests itself. But I also think that term gets thrown around too much.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're just a man's man and you're strong and you're successful, then... But I'm sure some woke, weak person would look at that and be like, that's toxic masculinity. And it's like, wait, do you even know the words you're saying right now? Like, I think toxic femininity is becoming much more of a problem, you know? And that's kind of going...
Because
rampant.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being an outspoken, strong woman. Absolutely not. Like, of course we have the right to speak up and start voicing our opinions, but...
Don't be ridiculous. Excuse my wife.
No, but what's the point in fighting for something so much if we're going to turn into what the men were back in the day? So it's like, there is no lesser of the evils. Like, now it's just kind of turning out to be the women instead of the men.
You're the robot, and your feelings don't matter, and your authority doesn't matter, and get fucked. And this is very conscious.
Matter.
Matter.
Bugatti. Do you even have a Bugatti, you brokey?
Reducing the man to just a bumbling idiot. And it's very hard, I think, for a lot of men to accept being in a position of constant disrespect. I'll tell you this now. If I had to choose a long-lasting marriage with a woman who loved me or a woman who truly respected me, I might choose respect over love. Even though they're the same thing for a woman, because she loves you, she respects you by default. But if I had to choose...
Do you believe that's the case?
Yes, I think so. Personally
So
speaking,
if a woman doesn't respect their husband...
She doesn't love him.
She doesn't love him, even though she might think...
And if she doesn't love him, she doesn't respect him. But as a husband and wife, if you don't respect your spouse, then it's an unhealthy marriage. You guys are not happy, there's going to be tension, there's going to be conflict, whereas when you love and respect them, that's when your relationship should blossom and grow.
But if I had to choose, I'd choose respect. I've been through too much and worked too hard and go through too much in day-to-day life to come home to my house and be having battles over asinine bullshit.
Please excuse my wife. It's my new favorite line.
House and be having battles over asinine bullshit.
Yes,
I take care of you and I love you with all of my heart. I would die for you. If someone broke into this house, I would engage the invader and die. Cook dinner, please. Like, what do you want from me? What more can I do for you? Like, and once they feel disrespected, this is another thing about the world that a lot of people don't understand. It's disrespect that will drive a man to the most heinous of crimes. It's disrespect that starts the school shooter bullshit. It's disrespect that makes men go to jail for life sentences. It's disrespect. When you truly disrespect a man in a public and permanent way, that's when they switch. That's why I'm so respectful in public. You don't know who the fuck you're talking to. He might be on his last fucking straw. And you just disrespected, hey, you're a fucking bitch anyway, you skinny motherfucker, fuck you. You don't know. That might be the last time you heard it. I've had enough.
Yes.
You don't know. Yeah. Disrespect is
By the way, I can absolutely attest to this because there were so many times growing up especially in my childhood, where I'll just take shit. Like like a friend will just say something and insult me, or maybe someone from school, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah, cool, and just kind of build in that revenge fucking murder fantasy. Okay. So there'll be times where I would just kind of allow that rage to just build up. It'd be like the Hulk, right? And then one day I'll just absolutely explode, and it'll be really bad. Like I'm talking, like I've beaten guys who were literally like, I remember this one fight in high school where this guy was like so tall, where I had to literally jump to punch his face because he took an empty water bottle and hit me in the head. It didn't hurt, but it was just that disrespect in front of everyone, and something just snapped, and I just went fucking AWOL.
I wonder why people thought you were the crazy one.
And I was just like, whack, and just started punching him in the face repeatedly, and then it's like, okay, I got that out of my system. And then I walked around the corner, and I just see this guy, just blood from bleeding, like streaming from his mouth and his nose. And then I was like, oh shit. And then he sees me, and then he got the fucking rage because he got disrespected in public. Because I wasn't angry anymore, right? And he was like twice the size of me, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna run away now. I ran around the courtyard. He's fucking running, trying to kick me. And then I run into the principal's office, and then played the card like, oh, he's twice the size of me. I got suspended, but I tried to argue. I was like, mate, look at the size of him. Come on. He deserves to fucking bleed that much.
Look at the size of him with blood all over his face. I mean, I did that, but...
Yeah, but come on, man.
Yeah, but you got him.
Because he's fucking disrespected me. He disrespected my mother. Oh, no, actually, no. He disrespected me. He said something, and then I did the whole, your mama. And then he came and hit me on the thing. But he started it. So, but I don't regret that.
See?
Anyway, so but my point is like, all it can take is one act of disrespect to make a guy go crazy. And I've had many of these instances because I couldn't control my anger, and I don't want to go through other stories, but that's just one little tiny example of how I've completely lost the plot because of disrespect. And imagine someone else who's even crazier, and he's even gone through more shit, and he's bottling up even more. There was a period of time where I fell into this new age bullshit where anger is a low vibration and we should transcend this and always be at peace and happy and this and that. But then a lot of times that kind of, you're just escaping reality and using something that's called spiritual bypassing, where your ego uses spiritual practices so that it can feel superior, but really you're just escaping what you really need to do. And sometimes anger, it's a very kind of like this fiery rage, but it has energy to it. You know what I mean? It's not like depression, for example, which is like you're losing your soul. You know, anger has motivated many great men in history to do impeccable things that have inspired. It's like we're learning what it's like to have that true divine masculinity be absent from our lives, and then see how society crumbles before us because we need order and hierarchy and all this kind of stuff. Whereas when we don't have that and society gets run by weak, effeminate men, more problems arise. And now we're like, oh shit. Because you can kind of come up with this story in your head, this narrative that, no, we don't need that anymore. We're beyond that. We progressed as humans. We can be more like free and
destroy your ego. You don't need your ego.
You don't need your ego. It's spirituality. Ooh, fleshy, physical matter. It's all an illusion. And then, of course, it's like, but you can't escape human nature. And when you hide it away in the closet, it's like Carl Jung's concept of the shadow. Right? Like when you repress all those negative unconscious parts that you don't like about yourself, just because you ignore it, it's like, it's low vibration, I don't like it. It just comes back 10 times stronger. We live in reality. There's good and evil. There's resistance. There's obstacles. There are these forces that want to stop you from growing and realizing your potential. That's just reality. It's competitive. I don't know.
Because you know what? It's like road rage.
Right.
When you're driving around, you got to be careful with who you toot at or who you overtake.
Oh,
you have no idea.
Sometimes you might... I've gone through those really bad days.
Where you're like, I'm going to fucking follow you home.
Yeah, where someone's just being a complete asshole, and I'm like, all right, this is the wrong day. I'm usually very kind, like, yeah, he must be having a bad day. Or because, like, you know, when you get angry at someone, I'm like, dude, maybe he's, like, late to a cancer appointment. Or, like, I'm really compassionate in that way. I do that. Disrespect, it's a very, 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 very dangerous thing, you know?
My love, can you pass me my juice box?
And in a household where you're constantly disrespecting a man, he's going to end up depressed and sad for even accepting it. Men just want to feel respected. It's not that hard to do. If you truly, I say to anyone watching this, if you truly love your man, it would be so easy for you to just make him feel respected. It doesn't even take actions. You can do it with basic words. Ask his opinion on something, big him up once in a while. And because we're supposed to be supermen and we purport ourselves as supermen and we're stoic, but we talked earlier about how we still feel everything. So when you're a strong man, especially, they're like, he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Be nice to the dude. You'd be surprised how far you get. But this is why I think most men walk out of marriages, because they're like, you know what? I'm not getting any respect here. I get more respect from this dickhead stripper, 18-year-old hoe, for throwing money at her than I do giving money to my own wife. Where am I being respected? Well, at least she's smiling at me. She ain't smiled at me in years.
I agree. I feel like a lot of women are going to be like how I am with you sometimes, where I'm like, well, yeah, what about my respect? Where's my respect? Which is completely fair enough. But I feel like in a relationship, a lot of the time, the women are the ones that need to give a little first. But I do also think that it depends. It also depends on how the man receives it. You know, it's one of those things, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Sometimes a woman will give and give and give, and then the man will just turn around and give her nothing back.
That's true.
It's both. It's not just a matter of the woman doing everything for the man and making him feel respected, making sure that. It is a part of it, because once she supplies that, he should, ideally, supply back respect.
I feel like as long as the man is at least on the progress of becoming better, high value, like for example, if the guy just has absolutely no sign of improving himself or trying to build his business or at least try to increase his wealth or success or health, and he's just literally, like if you see a graph over like a 2-year period and he's just declining, yet he still demands this respect from the woman.
The woman needs
That's
to leave.
when it's like, yeah, maybe you should go and find a better guy, because that's, you know, as long as you give him some warning and you try to make it, you try and but then he's just like, nah, I'm going to just go into this bottomless pit of hell and despair.
It may not seem like it, but women invest a lot of time and energy in building the guy up.
Sometimes it takes time, you know. It's a competitive world out there.
But it's like what I've done with you, you know. I make sure that I support and lift you, and, you know, even when you're down, I'm there to help support you. And even if I'm not actually a part of what you're doing, I'm still making sure that I'm there to be like, but you can do this. What do you need to do to help yourself grow? Do you need to travel? Do you need me to do this? Like, do you need time to yourself? Do what you need to do so that you grow, because that's the whole thing. If you grow, I grow, we grow.
Yeah. And in certain periods of times, because I think it wouldn't be a healthy thing for me to rely on you to build me up. I should build myself up. And I've gone through those dark periods before where I did struggle through like anxiety and like severe depression and despair and all this kind of shit. And I'm glad that I've deprogrammed that bullshit out of my brain, where I've entered this new reality where it's like, I don't get depressed. That's just not my reality. For what? It's just, it's a pointless thing. It's this state of consciousness that just, all it does is just opens more doors to hell. You know what I mean? And we do have the power to overrise, to break and transcend these things. So it's a partnership for sure. I think like we both have responsibility for our own. Right. I don't even want to say happiness, because happiness and we can make a whole video on this, of how happiness can be a trap in and of itself. And I think something that Andrew Tate says is that for a woman's purpose, it's more important for you to be happy than it is for me to be happy. I just need to get shit done and be successful. That. Yeah. And I agree with that, because I used to prioritize happiness all the time. It was like that new age bullshit of high vibration, happiness and peace. And it's not like I'm not unhappy, because I am happy. That's just like a side effect of just getting stronger and better and more successful and building yourself as an individual and accumulating value and all that kind of stuff. Like happiness, it should just come. But it doesn't matter what comes. Like it doesn't matter if I'm feeling sad, depressed, happy, motivated, or uninspired. Like, I still go to the gym now. Yeah. You know, it's like things like that. You still show up for work and you still get the shit done, no matter how you feel. Versus like, I'm not feeling good today. I need to meditate on my 432 hertz binaural beats and listen to new age music and, you know, whatever. But
This is you like 5 years ago.
yeah, exactly. That's like, I'm not even like speaking out of judgment of others. This is like, this was me. I understand. This is like the kind of worldview that I see destroying the lives of so many people, that it's part of my mission to destroy this movement. Click here if you want to see the first part, or over here if you want to see what we got up to next. We're going to continue reacting to Andrew Tate. If you have any links or suggestions or people or videos who you want us to react to, leave a comment. Share this video if you got some value out of it, and subscribe. Help us get to our first 10,000 subscriber count. Catch you guys next time.